Hare Krishna and welcome to this video on the Bhagavad-gita, chapter 1, verse 2. In this video we will be recomposing clauses. We will do it in two parts. This video is actually part 1, where we will focus mostly on word function and trying to identify in which clause a certain word might be positioned. So in the overall project then for both of these parts is that we are aiming to fill in this form here, and we want to determine which words are going to end up in which clause. So we have potentially 5 empty clauses here that we might want to fill in, and we're going to use these colors on the left hand side here to try to identify the exact clause, and then we will reassemble them in a standard Sanskrit subject object verb order. Okay, so let's try and zoom in here to be able to see the worksheet a little bit better. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Word number 1 in the intro, which is sanjaya. What do we say about that? Well, we see here that it is a nominative, masculine nominative singular, and that means that it must be a subject in a verb clause. So let's assign this the blue clause here is a blue clause, and we will write subject noun here like that. And here, of course, we are in the intro, so we already know very well that this is a short sentence. So this is the main verb in third person singular, perfect indicative active. So we already have the first clause here, sanjaya uvaca. Now we note, of course, also here that it's dissolved sandhi here, so to make things easier to talk about in terms of grammar. Okay, let's go to pada number 1 here. And of course now we have to we know that the intro is over and the verse really starts, so we have to begin our second clause here with drstva, and it's a gerund. And what does that mean? It means, well, it means new clause, of course. So, but it also means participle. Gerund is always a participle. Okay, so we are in the yellow clause now, and now here we have to, which is an enclitic. So it leans on the previous words always. It's always the second word in any clause. It cannot be the first one. So here we have this word, and it's very reasonable to assume that this is the same clause as the yellow participle here. So we will make it yellow also and simply write enclitic here. Okay, and the next one here, we see pandavanikam, and we note that this is a noun, of course, and well, it's a compound of two nouns, and the last anikam here is the word which is inflected, right? So it's that word which is neuter accusative singular. This one is in its stem form. Anyway, so this is accusative. That's the whole point here. It's accusative, and so it's an object. So so what is it? It's an object of what is it? What verb or what participle or what preposition is acting as the controller or the controller or the determiner of that accusative. Well, if we look at the verbs, we see that the best the best possibility is that drstva is actually the verb, or the participle here that controls anicam, so that it becomes accusative. So this is the same clause here, and we are writing here object noun. And why I'm specifying noun here is because when we go to pada 2 now, we see here that the form, this is an adjective, vyudham, and comparing it with the previous word here, we see that the ending is exactly the same. It's both are accusative singular. So vyudham modifies anikam, and that means that this is also in the same clause, and it means that this is also, we may say, an object, although it's modifying the object. We can right. All right. So what about the next word, duryodhanah? Well, we can see by the form here, it's nominative singular, right? And since the yellow clause here is a gerund clause or a participle clause, duryodhanah cannot be part of that yellow clause. Why? Because it is nominative. There are normally no nominatives in participle clauses because the participle, the whole point of the participle is to refer to a nominative in some other clause, namely the main verb clause. So that's the participle normal function. So therefore we have to pick another color here. We're now in another clause, an orange clause. And so this must be a subject here, and it is a noun. And here comes an adverb, indeclinable. The question is, does the adverb belong here, or does it belong to the next down here? So we have to look a little bit over here to see first what this might be. And my proposition is that these two are another clause, so I will fill that in first. because here we have another gerund. And I'll write the participle here, participle again. And then we have the object of the participle here. The participle controls acaryam, giving it the accusative here. So this is object noun. So now the question is simply, where belongs tada? Does tada belong to duryodhanah, or does it belong to this green clause? And so there are different arguments for both. One might say that okay, tada is belongs to the green clause because tada is here an adverb and it's arranged sequentially, that it stands first in the clause and then comes the object, and so it's properly situated in sequence, so to speak. And another argument might be that compared to drstva here, there may be some rhyming with tada and drstva, and that tada should be understood to be like a reaction to the previous. So the yellow first, and then comes tada as a result of that, and that it therefore should be in the green clause. But my my take on this is simply that I would like to propose that we put it in the orange clause instead. And one reason for that is simply that we have a strong half verse divider here on the very right. So this is the last word in the first half verse, in the first two padas. So it could be that they're grouped like that, and so that's my take at least. So, and I think it makes sense also. So we'll see that later on. Okay, so we'll just fill in the adverb here then, as in the orange clause, and now we just have 3 more words to go. We have a nominative here, and once again this is subject noun, and we note here, oh sorry, I should have copied the right. So it's a nominative once again, so it cannot be part of the previous participle there. So it's a new. But the thing is that here I'm choosing this color again because we never had any verb in this one. We had a subject here but no verb. So where is the verb? Well, the verb is here. And then the other words. Oh, I shouldn't have written that. There should be verb there. Verb. And there should be object. So then that sort of makes sense. So we have 2 subjects then, but this is a proper noun, and this is simply an ordinary noun, so there is no problem. So let's zoom out and here is the result. Thank you very much for watching, and Hare Krishna.